Professor Musa Xulu, who is a cultural expert, is with us, and you are back, Babu Xulu. Perhaps let's pick up on the point that for someone of the stature, collecting his remains from the mortuary while the sun is still high is not done. Why is that so?
Well, thank you very much, my sister. Traditionally, according to Zulu customs, the times of the day for burial and for anything that has to do with death are allocated accordingly. Children are buried in the morning. People of lesser significance are buried during midday. And usually the ones that are head of homesteads or makosi and others with high stature in society are buried, or anything that has to do with their burial gets conducted towards sunset. The reasons are that it's all related to the ancestor belief that the ancestors become very active from sunset to sunrise, in between there. And because his soul is departed, whatever is done, somebody, for example, is going to be talking to his body, or let me say his spirit, from the mortuary until they reach home, directing the spirit that we are telling here now. We are now getting to your homestead. We are now getting to your actual bedroom, if the body will lay there. And then, of course, that person will be carrying a branch from a particular type of tree, using it as a communication tool. So it has to happen in line with the traditional belief systems that because he's old and he's a head of a homestead, an inkosi, and the traditional prime minister to His Majesty, traditional prime minister to his nation for over 70 years, it's understandable that they have decided to delay a little bit bringing his body home, so that towards sunset, yes, that is the right time for his body to be brought home. And it is believed that at that time, the invitation to the ancestors will be more effective than if they do it during broad daylight.
The carrying of the branch, what is that process called?
It does not have a name, but they use the branch of a certain type of a tree as a communication tool where nature meets human beings. That the carrier of the branch will be the only one who is allowed to talk directly to Buthelezi throughout the journey until he is buried. Others will be talking to the ancestors.
Okay, we asked Babqulu because a little bit earlier on, his son, Prince Zuzifa, mentioned that because his father passed away peacefully at home, that there's a particular Zulu term for it that I do not have in my mind right now, but that will not be done because his father passed away peacefully at home.
No, yeah,
or is that something different?
It's something different. You see, where Buthelezi is now, where Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi is right now, his body is, his spirit is there. They don't take the spirit along with them back to home. The spirit may be left at the mortuary. And later, there could be sicknesses or other things. And when they go to people, the seers will say, you did not bring your father home. He is still there at the mortuary. And his spirit is lingering around, not knowing where it is. The other types of deaths, of course, that differ is when, for example, a person dies through an accident. If you die through an accident, of course, they will not allow your body to come back home. It can come back home, but will not enter the homestead. It remains outside of the homestead because they will be saying that it may attract further bad lucks in future, repetition, some kind of generational curses.
Okay.
But in terms of this, even if you died peacefully at hospital or anywhere, your spirit must be fetched with a branch.
Okay. Professor Xulu, we understand that tonight there's going to be a night vigil, but in terms of the process itself, for someone like Umntwana wakwaPhindangene, what are we likely to actually not even see, right? And if we are not likely to see that, is it because of secrecy or pure honor and respect for the process itself?
Yes, I think maybe the last that the media and the general public will be able to see is the cortege of his body entering the homestead. But once he enters the main house where he stayed, it will be completely a family affair, and they may conduct their own family rituals. You see, in Zulu culture, every clan has got their own set of rituals. They are not usually always the same, and they are shaded with secrecy. Only a few members of the family will know what they do. Sometimes they will use that to wash the body, or maybe they will use that to decide whether in reality to bury him tonight as an inkosi or to bury him tomorrow. Because there's still a possibility, and they will not say that to anybody and everybody. There's still a possibility that actual burial could happen tonight. So that when we go to the Marquee Stadium for the service tomorrow, there could be a coffin, but possibly without a body inside. So we will only know when things happen, because once he's inside the house, then the family will most possibly not be wanting anybody to come anywhere near, and it's understandable to everybody.
Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, a little bit earlier on, speaking to my colleague Ziyanda Ngcobo, mentioned the torturous journey of mourning. And so it's one thing to have rituals to usher someone who has passed on, but what about the family that remains, and perhaps speaking for them, fortifying them spiritually and emotionally, even though it may be an individual journey, but is there something that is done in Zulu custom to fortify those who remain?
Yes, the people who came, who kept coming in from Saturday to sit down with the family, were doing something which is called ukubona. Just go to see the family, to visit the family, and to pass words of condolences and to comfort them. There has been too many of those. I think I know those that family very well, and I've spoken to them. At the moment, they say they are overwhelmed because you know the political position that Buthelezi held for over 70 years, also in politics. You make a lot of enemies sometimes and a lot of negative publicity. But the way things turned out for that family and for the Zulu nation, it has never been seen here in KwaZulu-Natal. The whole thing has been at level mostly of the funeral of President Nelson Mandela. So they are currently overwhelmed. It will come to them after the funeral when people start disappearing, Amabuto going back to their rural areas and hostels, and everyone else starting to go back to their businesses when they are left alone. In fact, when I spoke to the youngest daughter, she said to me this morning, she still can't believe that her father is no more. She is numb and dumb, and all the things that have happened so quickly, and the hearts of fellow South Africans and the actions of President Cyril Ramaphosa, who have given them the highest kind of, has given Prime Minister Buthelezi the highest kind of state funeral level, has left the family overwhelmed, completely overwhelmed. Remember, it's only 3 of them now, plus their children. So, but as I say, I think the biggest problem for them emotionally will start after the funeral, when they are left alone and have to face the reality for the first time in their lives, to live without both of their parents.
Professor Xulu, we beg your indulgence and ask that you please stay with us as we take a quick breather. We're back with you in a few moments. Let's continue our conversation with cultural expert Professor Musa Xulu, but also someone who knew Mangosuthu Buthelezi quite well, Prof. You speak of his youngest daughter and how numb the family is since the outpouring of support. How would you characterize his love for his children and his family? Professor Xulu, are you still with us?
I am with you, yes, yes.
Right. With your intimate knowledge of Buthelezi, how would you characterize his love for his family and his children?
No, his love for his family was very deep, and his children were very close to him. At some stage, I was attached to a college of education in Nongoma some years back, and his son, his late son now, used to visit me a lot to talk about this and that. And all the time, his son would only talk about his father. And when I met with the father on several occasions, because I first met with Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi way back in 1988 as a master's students at the University of Natal, studying ethnomusicology and specializing in Zulu traditions, Amahubo songs, Zulu music, and traditions and cultures, as well as the structure of the kingdom and how culturally it is structured. And then, ever since then, he was the one who introduced me to His Majesty the late King, and they gave me a knowledgeable person called Prince Gideon. He is also now late. He was an MBC here in KwaZulu-Natal. So it's been a long time, and almost all the time, he had something to say about his family. And his sons and his daughters were always around him. And they are also, even today, very much full of praise. Despite his very heavy schedule of work, he would always, I remember one of the phrases they like is that whenever he came back home from wherever, he would come with flowers for the mother and some spoils for the children. He took them very seriously. And I understand when they say they are hurt, because he literally made them. And the two daughters are in politics now. The son is in business. Maybe he's going to take over now as Newzroom Afrika. Well, he should. I don't know what the arrangements will be.
Sure.
But so that was very close, really, a closely knit family. I have visited there a couple of times, and when they give you tea or whatever, Buthelezi sometimes is with you, and within minutes, one or two of the sons or daughters will come and join you, and then there's time for jokes.
Professor Xulu, you spoke of Amahubo, and we've been hearing Amabutho Behuba throughout the course of the afternoon. There's a phrase or a saying that says, he who sings prays twice. I recently learned that. And so what is the significance of that, especially traditionally, right, Ukuhuba?
Let me start by maybe explaining what Amahubo songs are. Amahubo songs are the original Zulu music, which is believed to have been the music that was sung by Zulus at creation when they came out of the bed of Reed. Reed, R-E-E-D. So Reed dance will relate to the creation, people emerging from that bed of Reed. So it is believed that they were singing these Amahubo songs, and they already had cattle, and they were adults and children and everyone. So the creation was already many people. That's why you look at the structure of anything that Zulus do. There'll always be many people. But the songs also are structured in such a way that you cannot sing it alone. So an Ihubo song will have the one who starts it, and there must be others who respond. It's a call and response kind of situation. It reflects that you cannot do anything completely on your own. Amahubo songs are therefore known as, they have several categories. The category A is that where an Ihubo song of a clan will have two songs. They are prayer songs. They are sung in very few occasions, in a wedding, as well as in the death of a significant member of the family homestead. Not anyone. They are not sung when a child dies, for example. They are known as the music of old people. They are the ones that link the living with the dead. So what would have happened today is twofold. The Buthelezi will sing their Buthelezi Amahubo. And then after that, Amabutho take over the kind of Amahubo which are fast-paced for walking. Those are more of war songs. Usually, when you see Amabutho walking, and singing, they are singing a subcategory of Amahubo, which are more prepared for war, like when you go to Isandwana to fight with the English or anywhere. The first category is very slow music, very, very slow, because it is assumed that when you sing it, the ancestors rise, the spirit of the ancestors rises, and then the ancestors are with you as you sing, and then there is completeness. So it's compulsory for the Buthelezi to sing their clan Amahubo songs, as well as because he is a member of the Zulu royal family. Some of the Zulu royal family Amahubo songs. The Zulu royal family at some stage is also a clan, which is not aside from the Zulu nation. So those will also have to be sung to invite the spirits of the Zulu royal family, especially the spirit of King Dinuzulu, grandfather, or spirit of King Zechwayo, and all the others. So that makes him very powerful because it gets the spirit from the Zulu royal family and the Buthelezi. And then Amabutho.
Unfortunately, I do beg your pardon. Unfortunately, that's all the time we can afford for now, at least. Professor Musa Xulu is a cultural expert. Thank you very much, sir, for your time.